I have a question, and it's an honest question for all of my liberal friends and viewers out there. This is not meant to be rhetorical or antagonistic or facetious at all. It's an open and honest question, and I would like my conservative friends to leave the floor open for the liberals to answer down in the comment section, because something is going on with the Democratic Party that doesn't make any sense at all since Biden has taken office. Now, I don't agree with a lot of what they stand for, a lot of the planks in their platform. A few of them make sense if applied properly. But something has happened now twice with President Joe Biden that literally contradicts things he has said only weeks prior. Now, what am I talking about specifically? Second time that I've seen this, Biden says he'll release 10 million more barrels of crude oil from the dwindling oil piggy bank after OPEC's production cuts. But this is the big risk with more withdrawals. This is Yahoo Finance. You can find this story all over. You can read about it at virtually any platform you want to. But here's my question. I thought the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives wanted North Americans especially to be using less oil, to be using less petroleum products in general, and switching more toward electric cars. Wasn't that just this past summer? When gasoline went up, it was Pete Buttigieg all over, buy electric cars, buy electric cars. Well, now we're seeing them explode everywhere after they've been underwater with the hurricane. But why would you go to the Saudis and say, don't do this, don't decrease production? That's literally what the environmentalists want. They would love it if they would cut production to zero, regardless of whatever that would do to the price. And also, for the last, I don't know how long since the invasion of Ukraine, they have demonized Vladimir Putin and made him out to be the most evil man on the planet when he's literally just a harmless little ball of fluff compared to these people. The Saudi royal family is orders of magnitude way more evil than Vladimir Putin or any Russian leader has ever been. And they're going to these people hand in hand. They're not demonizing them or sanctioning them or doing anything about it. And if the reason is, and here's the key, if the reason is, well, because of OPEC and oil production, that's the reason you should be sanctioning them, Democrat, liberal, progressive. Because according to you, the production of oil and oil burning and oil using things is the main and primary driver of global warming, and it's going to destroy our planet, and we're not going to be able to live here, and everybody's going to be extinct. If there was a reason to sanction somebody and to go after somebody, this would be it. But what are you doing? You're going to them hat in hand and saying, produce more oil. And when they don't produce more oil, you put more oil on the market yourselves. How in the world does this make any sense at all? For years, you have been preaching to us about our gas-guzzling vehicles. Here's 10 biggest gas-guzzling vehicles of 2019. Land Rovers and Grand Cherokee Trackhawks and Sequoias and Armadas and all these vehicles. I like this picture here by the water. It made me think of surfers for some reason. I don't know why. This isn't where you would surf, but not many surfers take electric vehicles to the beach with their boards. They usually take them out there in trucks, but that's another conversation for another day. Also, talk about policies rigged to favor gas guzzlers over climate, health, and consumers. We've heard this for years. And to put the cherry on the sundae, on the hypocrisy sundae, just yesterday, Joe Biden was in Hagerstown at a Volvo plant where they make D11 and D13 engines and powertrains, transmissions, talking about restoring manufacturing in America. This was only this time yesterday. Where is it? He said, where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing again? To manufacture things, you need to burn petroleum and oil. because of all of the other things, the greases and the lubricants and everything else that's made from petroleum, plastics, and all this kind of stuff that liberals and progressives have been demonizing for decades. And here he is, literally with these as props in the background. And by the way, a D11 and D13 engine is what goes in the big rigs. And these things are literally stand still without petroleum products. Transmission fluid, brake fluid, grease for the bearings, I mean, literally everything in here, all of these plastics, by the way, are all petroleum based. And he's talking about restoring American manufacturing and putting more oil on the market, while at the same time telling everybody we drive electric vehicles so that they don't burn gasoline, even though the lithium in the batteries is just as poisonous and toxic as anything else out there. I don't understand. I don't understand how he can have both positions at the same time. See, if you want to talk about electric vehicles on a large scale, go no further than Florida. In fact, we talked about this on in another context a few months back about this place in Florida called the Villages. It's where all these old people are. And all the roads are designed really for golf carts. And there's only about 2 or 3 different models of golf cart you can get. And they plug them in and they use them for the vast majority of their transportation. But of course they have a vehicle in the garage in case it's raining, in case the weather doesn't permit. They don't use them very much. They love their golf carts. And their biggest sin truly is probably going down once a week to the local bar and tossing their keys in a bowl. And, well, we talked about that. They have their little gardens. They live communally and in a very socialistic way, almost like a socialist utopia. But 91% of these people voted for Donald Trump. In the Villages. Fact, look it up. You see, the whole idea of the suburbs has been demonized. You see, electric, and here's the other hypocrisy I don't get. Electric cars in nice weather, in places like neighborhoods, would work fine. That's why here, this is an aerial shot of the Villages, they're so prevalent. But they are terrible ideas for out here. Horrible ideas. Number one, because of the speeds. You need bigger, beefier shocks and suspensions and tires to feel safe and in control. And if you would get in a log jam out here and you would lose power or whatever, you would run out of charge, you would become a hazard immediately to all traffic. They would also be very, very risky in downtown, like in a heavily trafficked downtown. Once again, any kind of a malfunction with those, and they're just not designed for it, especially in the winter. Can you imagine blowing wind and ice and snow and trying to run the heaters, the electric heaters that these things are equipped with? How fast you would run out of battery? And don't get me started on country roads where you may or may not have a cell signal. You see, it's just bizarre to me. And if you really want something to be upset about, I mean, there's a lot of bad things going on in the world, is what I'm saying. Key parties in the Villages are not things to be upset about, are not things to dwell on. Whether somebody is driving, a gas-guzzling SUV that you think is destroying the planet. If you want to be upset about something, be upset about people in Poland. It's only October, and they are already running out of things to burn to stay warm. People in Poland are already burning garbage, and it's only October. Romania is capping firewood prices. It's already getting desperate. So whether this happens or whether this doesn't happen, the best you can do is live your life and be prepared. But a buddy of mine, Tim Bassett, up in Jacksonville, posted something on his Instagram that I think is really appropriate. It's words from C.S. Lewis from right around World War II. And they were talking about the atomic bomb so much, and everybody was afraid of it. And this is a quote from C.S. Lewis. In one way, we think a great deal too much of the atomic bomb. How are we to live in an atomic age? I am tempted to reply, why, as you would have lived in the 16th century when the plague visited London almost every year. Or as you would have lived in the Viking Age when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat any night, or indeed as you are already living, and he was talking about the 40s and 50s here, in an age of cancer, an age of syphilis, an age of paralysis, air raids, railway accidents, motor accidents. In other words, do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. Believe me, dear sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was invented, meaning we're all going to die. And quite a high percentage of us were going to die in unpleasant ways. We had indeed one very great advantage over our ancestors, anesthetics, but we have that still. It is perfectly ridiculous to go about whimpering and drawing long faces because the scientists have added one more chance of painful and premature death to a world which already bristled with such chances, and which death itself was not a chance at all but a certainty. This is the first point to be made, and the first action to be taken is to pull ourselves together. If we are all going to be destroyed by an atomic bomb, let that bomb, when it comes, find us doing sensible and human things, praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint and a game of darts, not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies, a microbe can do that, but they need not dominate our minds. And this truly, to me, is the great wisdom of the elderly here in Florida. You see, I think they've gotten beyond it. Yes, it could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be 10 years from now. Live life and enjoy the day. Because we're not promised tomorrow. Are we? So why live as if we were? Why live as if something bad happens, as if we're being robbed of something we were never promised to begin with? I guess that would be my question to the liberals. You were never promised tomorrow. You were never promised 1,000 years or 2,000 years or 3,000 years of peace. If global climate change comes and it goes, and if we had something to do with it, or we didn't have something to do with it, to the vast majority of people, it makes no difference. Right now in Poland, they're looking for trash to burn. Right now in Poland, they're looking for trash to burn. And this guy can't decide whether he's for fossil fuels or he's against fossil fuels. He can't decide whether he's for dictators or he's against dictators. I mean, if you had to truly sit and dwell on who might be the most evil people on the planet, this isn't even a contest. Using mere logos, art of persuasion, just the facts. Just the facts. You don't have to believe your feelings, and you don't have to believe me. Just look at the facts of what the Saudi royal family has done in the last 100 years, and it's not even close. I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.